Hello, ladies. My name is Angela, for those of you that may not know me, and I'm really happy to have you here. I can't wait to share exciting topics about how you can get your body back into balance as you get into your 40s and beyond as a female. I know there's so many things that come up for us. And I mean, let's face it doesn't necessarily just happen at that magic number 40 and beyond. It could be happening earlier as well. I've had hormone imbalance symptoms on and off for most of my life since I started having my period when I really reflect back on it. So these symptoms, even though they can become more common as you get into your 40s and beyond, they certainly can be there in your 30s and even your 20s and earlier. But one of the symptoms that I know comes up for me, and it's been really obvious for me over the last few weeks, is lack of sleep. So for me, what happened is I actually had an injury, a musculoskeletal injury. So I injured myself when I was out doing a sport. And because of that injury, I was not sleeping well for about 3 weeks. And this was long enough for me to have the whole apple cart really get tipped upside down. And with that, obviously I have a period coming within that cycle. And I really just had a terrible lead up to my period. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing a lot of the basics. Well, I was doing some of the basics. I was still eating well. I was still keeping up with what I do with my typical vitamin and food routine, but I had some of those basics that were in my routine every day, proper sleep and enough exercise, they just went out the window really quickly. And so I had a terrible cycle coming. I had PMS. I had more brain fog, more bloating, digestion issues. I just wasn't feeling like my best self. I had a headache start to come on a couple days before my period. I don't usually get this happening since I have learned the root cause of where my hormone imbalance is coming from. But I'm also aware that I am getting into my mid 40s now, and I do have to be really diligent with all of those lifestyle strategies that help keep me balanced cycle after cycle, month after month. And you may be noticing that too. Do you notice that your sleep gets more disrupted at certain points in the month? Is it worse leading up to your period? Do you end up having lighter sleeps, waking up more often? Do you wake up at all with temperature fluctuations and a sweat? Are you not sleeping because you're under stress, your nervous system, you can't relax? There's so many things. You can maybe go to bed well, but then you wake up in the middle of the night and you've got things on your mind and you can't get back to sleep. I know many women tell me at certain points in their cycle, if they wake up at 1 or 2, that's really just the end of things for them, and they get things going in their brain and then they can't get back to sleep no matter what they try. So if this does sound like you, and again, what it can lead into is an unfavorable cycle where you're more moody, you don't feel well leading up to and during. It affects obviously people in your household, people around you. It affects you too a ton, right? I mean, you want to feel like your best self throughout the month, not have these big peaks and valleys where you feel good for a while and then you feel really unwell for part of the month every month, because that cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. And I mean, who really wants to feel like that month after month after month? So again, lack of sleep can be one of the biggest contributing factors here. So I do want to let you know that there is a way to help you get the balance back with sleep. You don't necessarily have to just put up with it and just kind of see that cycle coming month after month and just kind of grip and brace and hope for the best. There is more that can be done. A couple quick tips for you around sleep. If you're having trouble going to sleep, it's most likely related to something that's happened during your day. I always tell people that you actually set up your night from the first minute you get out of bed in the morning. So quick tip for you, if you're not getting to bed well and you just can't settle down and get to sleep, is as soon as you wake up in the morning, especially we're at a time of year now where it's getting lighter out earlier for most people, depending on where you live. So open the blinds as soon as you wake up. It may not seem necessary at the time, but it really influences our circadian rhythms and our ability to feel awake when we're supposed to feel awake, and then our ability to actually be able to calm down and go to sleep when we're supposed to, when it's getting darker out, between 8 and 9 p.m. at night. And I know that does extend out later as we get closer to summer. Yay, I can't wait. But we do have to be mindful that what we do in our morning and actually throughout our day impacts our night. The other thing that's really important, a quick tip for you, is to make sure that you're well hydrated during the day. So if you do feel like you are thirsty by the time it's 6, 7 p.m. at night, and you do what I call backloading, you drink a bunch of water then because you're catching up because you didn't drink enough during the day, this can also really influence your sleep. An obvious reason would be you have to get up and go to the washroom more often, but also you're probably still not caught up. You're in a deficit, so you're dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, it actually promotes a bit more inflammation in the body at night, doesn't allow the systems to relax and reset. And so you won't get into a nice quality deep sleep if you are dehydrated, especially chronically. And I know there's many women that tell me that they're just not keeping up with their water intake, not even close. So these are a couple of quick tips for you. Often we need to dive in deeper and understand the root cause of where your sleep imbalances could be coming from, and also what impact it's had on your body. So when we don't sleep consistently well for long enough, meaning you're not getting that ideal 7 to 9 hours of sleep, 6, 7 nights out of the week, if you've been chronically sleep deprived for months or, even years on end, we do need to check on the systems of your body. So that's where a functional medicine practitioner like myself comes in, and I do the proper lab testing for you to help understand what's happening with your cortisol levels, your circadian rhythms, the rise and fall of that cortisol throughout the day, which has a huge influence on what's happening for you at night. We can also check some of your chemical messengers in the brain, your neurotransmitters that influence sleep, neurotransmitters like serotonin. We can check on your dopamine levels, your norepinephrine, which is more of that adrenaline hormone, and we can see if they're in balance or not. So there is ways for us to actually help you refine a customized plan for you to help you get better sleep. We can even look at your genetics, believe it or not. And some people have certain genetic predispositions to not producing a lot of those chemicals that not only help us sleep, but they help us feel mentally well and balanced. So they're very balancing for our mood in relation to being calm, as well as feeling energetic and joyful. So there's a lot of information that we can get from doing this type of testing, including genetic testing. So if you do feel like you have been struggling with sleep for many, many years, you feel like you've tried every supplement, maybe sleeping medication, hormones, all the things on the market that are supposed to help you with sleep. You've tried relaxation, meditation techniques. You feel like nothing's worked. You probably need a more customized plan. So if that is the case, and this does sound like you, don't wait. Don't feel more and more exhausted over time, because it just depletes not only you, but several other systems in your body, and it can actually become a risk factor for you. There's lots of research around lack of sleep and how it can not only shorten your life, but make you at higher risk for things like having a heart attack, having different things develop that obviously none of us really want to ever encounter. So we've got to get a handle on our sleep, not only to balance our hormones, but to be preventative of events, cardiac events, and disease processes from developing. So if you do feel like this is you and you do want to reach out and learn more about how you could actually help your sleep both now and for the long term, again, it's going to help you rebalance your hormones, your overall outlook on life. It's going to make you feel a little bit like a happier human being, not only for yourself, but others around you. I'm sure if you get a handle on your sleep, your family members will be pretty pleased with you as well. So feel free to reach out to me if you feel like you want to learn more about this. You can reach me at my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca. I'm happy to have an initial complimentary consult with you to talk about if it could potentially be a good fit for us to work together to help you not only with optimizing sleep, but your hormonal health and wellness and balance, both now and for the long term. And I hope you'll also be able to continue to watch my YouTube channel, watch the topics that come up. And if you do have a question, a comment, always reply into the YouTube response. I'm definitely happy to respond back to you. I'm also happy to take any questions of concerns or topics of interest that you feel like you would like me to discuss in regards to hormone imbalance and some of the symptoms you're experiencing and how to get to the bottom of it. Thank you so much for being a member here, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.